Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and welcome to another episode of How to Build. This is the series where we go through my created characters, either for the story, or for my Legends videos, or for campaign characters, and I tell you how to build them, what armor sets to use, what weapon sets to use, and more than that, I also tell you what kind of executions to use, what kind of feats to use, all that kind of stuff, because I want you guys to make these characters as close as you can. Why? Because I've had a lot of people tell me that they like the characters that I make and they want to try to make them themselves. So today we're going to be talking about Rachel, one of my Black Prior characters. I have two, Deborah and Rachel. And people have asked me to do Deborah. And I will eventually, but Deborah I'm still kind of fitting out, like I'm still kind of working out the details with her in terms of her feats and her executions and her emotes and stuff like that. So I need a little bit more time with her to pan out everything, but with Rachel I pretty much got it figured out. Rachel, I got the idea for her when the Chimera set armor came out and I saw the way it looked on her. I just said, I've got to make this like an angel Black Prior, because if there's one thing that I really like, I like the concept of warrior angels, like fighting saints of battle from heaven, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's really, really awesome, and I got that idea when going into Rachel, so Rachel is kind of an angel. It rhymes, right? So I wanted to make this angel Black Prior, and I've had a couple people say that they really like this, that they think it looks really cool, and so I figured, why not go into how to make her? If y'all want to make your own angel character in For Honor, there is a way to do it. So without any further ado, let's talk about how you make Rachel the angel. So first of all, with the helm and the armor, you're going to want the Chimera Senator helm, the Chimera Senator chest, and the Chimera Senator arms. This was all released as a Chimera set, and as you know, most of the Chimera sets are basically the default armor for the hero, but really polished, really brightened up, really shiny. They look very nice. And so with this set, it's very white, which gives off a bright, holy kind of appearance, which is really what you want. And it also combines well with the gold, which we'll get into a little bit later. So you want the Chimera Senator set. That's what you want for your armor. For your weapon, this is going to be a little tricky. You're going to want the Carina blade, the Loyalist hilt, and the Carina shield. Now, the Carina set, I believe, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe it was all only available during the Prince of Persia limited time event. And unless they bring that back, you probably can't get access to this if you don't already have it. But fear not, there are a few alternatives you can choose. You can also choose the Scorching Volition shield, which has a sun on it, which works very well. You can do the Chimera Buteo shield, which I think looks fine. The gold is really what sells it there. You can also get, where was it? Here it is. You can get the Gilded Desolation shield, which looks very good as well. Those are the ones that you really want to go after if you don't have the Carina set, but Carina is going to be what looks best because that gold lining and beauty is really what you want to get for this. And that goes well with the blade as well. The Loyalist hilt I chose because it actually, in my opinion, looks better than the Carina set. If I recall correctly, the Carina one doesn't look nearly as good. In fact, I don't even know if I have it. I might not. But I do know that the Loyalist hilt is an excellent set. It looks, what I really want to go for with my angel character is sort of a gold glowing look. Like, she's supposed to look absolutely gorgeous. She's supposed to be something that shines on the battlefield, a beacon, if you will. Because that's what an angel is, you know, they're a beacon, a symbol, a messenger, a warrior. They're all these things and more. So I really wanted her to stand out. So that gold is really going to help do that. So, in conclusion, Chimera Senator armor set, Carina blade, Loyalist hilt, Carina shield. Got all that? Awesome. Let's keep going. All right, so for traits, now you could go male or female here, honestly, but I went with female, and the reason why is if you look at the male and you look at the face, you can see the 5 o'clock shadow and the lines on the face, which look very masculine, which is good. But at the same time, I wanted to go with the female, mostly because in the book of Genesis, when describing angels, they're often described with very fair, attractive features, kind of like what you'd see in a woman, even though they technically are genderless. Angels don't necessarily have a sex. They can look like whatever they want. But because they had such fair, fine features, I thought a female would look best because you will get that fair facial feature. Also, for skin tone, I did go with the first option. Usually it wouldn't bother me to go with the final option. That isn't necessarily a problem, but I go with the first option because, again, it gives that glowing, bright, fair image. It's kind of what you want to go with. Technically, again, you could go with this if you want to, but if you really want that glowing image that looks like a fair angel, that's what you want to go with. Okay, so we're clear on the traits. Cool. All right, so let's go into the ornament because I think that's very important. The ornament is Feathered Courage, which you get from the Flying Lee's mythic outfit. So you will need to get a mythic outfit for this. So you want the Feathered Courage, which is this really cool eagle look, which looks very noble, very regal. I think that looks great. But let's say, you know what, Raven, I don't want to splurge for the Flying Lee's mythic outfit. What else you got? The other option I would offer you is honestly the Fallen Justice, which is out with the Heresy of the Relics event pass. So if you got this one, which I hope you did if you were doing the event pass, then this is a good substitute. I would still say to go with the Feathered Courage. Or if you want another alternative, you could go with Ardent Aquila, which is gotten for the Ardent Aquila Anima outfit, which was given out during the Black Pirates Riposte bundle. So you could go with this too. But again, best option, Feathered Courage. All right. All right, let's keep going. So, for your outfit, this is actually really easy. Like, you don't need a whole lot for this. For the paint pattern for the chest and back, you don't need any paint pattern. You need a symbol. You need for the chest, you need the symbol of the flared cross, which is gotten at Reputation 10, Level 10. And the reason you want this one is because it gives off that cross look. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of crosses that you can get. There are like a fair few, I think. Like, I guess you could count that as a cross, and there's one other here, which I don't really have time to look for. I think, but there's very few crosses, which is a real shame because some Christian iconography would look really good, but you want that very ornamented cross, so the symbol is going to be the flared cross. No embossing. For left arm, you don't want anything because look what happens when you add something. It kind of messes with the shield, doesn't it? And none of those really look all that great. I guess you could go with the Sword Angel, but you'll notice it doesn't look all that good. It kind of ruins it, doesn't it? Like, I don't like that anymore. It takes away some of that gold aspect that we like so much. So I wouldn't put anything on that left arm. Keep the shield plain. For right arm, no paint pattern, no symbol, but go with the Paisley 2 embossing, which has gotten at Reputation 18, Level 20. If you haven't gotten your Black Pirate to Reputation 18, Level 20, then another good option would probably be the flowers. Well, actually, that's Reputation 23. Sorry, forget I said that. The other one would probably be Paisley 1 at Reputation 3, Level 20. I just like the Paisley 2 because it looks more ornamented. But honestly, if you're not going to focus that much on the arm anyway, so Paisley 1 or Paisley 2 is going to be fine. For the back, you don't want a paint pattern. You want the symbol Golden Lees. Now, the Golden Lees is a very French symbol, but it also can be a Christian symbol. It is a piece of Christian iconography. So definitely you want the Golden Lees back there because it just really pops out. It stands out. And again, without a cross symbol to use, I think that works great. Now, actually, funny thing is, with the new heretic thing with the whole Gothic church feel, you could go with some of these others like the Heretic Collapse 2 or the Heretic Collapse 3. Those would all be pretty decent, but I went with the Flying Lees and I've kind of stuck with that. No embossing necessary. Now you might be wondering, Raven, how come you're not adding a lot of paint patterns? Because if I add paint patterns, that takes away from the white that I like. You know, I want that glowing, bright look that makes it look angelic. So if I add a paint pattern, that could potentially take that away. See, now it looks too saturated. I feel like if it's just white, it will stand out all the more. So I think that works. Sometimes the less is more, you know, that kind of philosophy. For legs, again, no paint pattern, no symbol. Embossing, Paisley 1. You're not going to notice it all that much because it's all the way at the bottom there. You can see it changing as I move through the pieces. So you're not going to notice it all that much. But yeah, Paisley 1 I think is fine. And you don't want any paint pattern because, again, if you add a paint pattern, it just doesn't look all that good in my opinion. So you really want something very plain that's going to stick out. Gold, beautiful, that's what you're going for. And speaking of gold, that's the material you want. You want material gold, which is gotten at Reputation 9, Level 20. The gold mixes well with the white clothing, and it also pops out, giving a very holy, very heavenly look. So that's what we want, the gold look, all right? And now for the big one, the colors. What color scheme is this? Avant-Garde Tepidity, which is gotten in the Year 4, Season 4 Battle Pass. Now, some of you might be thinking, Raven, I didn't do that Battle Pass. I can't get it. Well, honestly, you're in luck because, frankly, what you really need is anything that's going to have a light or yellow look for the cross. Because remember, the cross is the part that needs to stick out. So if you can get something yellow like Glimmers of Peace or Blackstone Elite or Heretic Collapse 3, maybe even Transit Umbra or Store Flag. If you can get any of those, then you're probably going to be good. The reason I like Avant-Garde Tepidity, though, is because it also affects the crest on the eagles on your arm. So that gives off another gold look that contrasts well with the gold already on your arm. So that's the ideal. But if you don't have that one, there are options. All right? Awesome. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the next part, which is your abilities, executions, emotes, and all that. All right. First of all, you want Sinister Shield for your first feat, okay? And the reason why is because Sinister Shield allows you to provide a shield to one of your allies. And since she's a guardian angel, I figure she would provide a shield to her ally. I figure that just makes a lot of sense. Next is Healing Ward, okay? Again, you're healing yourself, and I think that works very well for an angel. You're going to constantly be healing yourself, building yourself up. You're never going to want to show your weaknesses, and you're just healing through every battle. Tough as Nails increases your overall health, which I think fits for an angel who's going to have a lot more health than the average warrior. They're going to be nigh immortal beings. And then finally, Umbral Shelter, because again, protecting your allies, building up others. You have a guardian angel at your back. That's what you want to do. You really want to go with a build that's going to guard and protect yourself and your allies. So these two protect yourself, and then the first and fourth protect your allies. That is the role of the guardian angel. So I thought those worked very well. Next, for executions, you want Clarent. And the reason I chose Clarent is because it's like she's summoned down the sword of heaven. Like she's just chopping someone down with the sword of the Lord, right? I just thought that worked too well. Actually, funny thing, all of the executions you want for her are going to be universal executions, no unique Blackbriar executions. But when you see which ones I've chosen, you'll see why. So Clarent, I think, works very well here. Next, you want Water Summoner. The reason I like this one is because it mimics baptism. You're actually going to baptize your enemy in holy water. I thought you can't go wrong with that either. That's very much what I want to see an angel do. Because, if the angels could part the Red Sea, if the angels can control water, they're going to baptize the enemy. I like that. The next one is Revenant Slayer. They're here to slay demons. They're here to purge demons, and they're going to do it with the power of the Lord, and the golden glow that comes off of it, it just looks so gorgeous, and it's going to be what destroys the demon inside them, and then, boom, they're gone in holy light. I just think that works so well for what we're going for an angel. And then finally, Ramiel's Ascendancy. Once again, pulling out a holy sword, you're striking your opponent in the stomach, and then slice off their head with golden light flying around you. Yes, I think that's just so perfect. Especially since the sword, when you pull it out, is glowing at first. So it's almost like they just materialized a sword out of nowhere. I just think it works so well. It's not that you can't use some of the Blackbriar other executions, but these 4 universals fit very well for an angelic being. So those would be the ones that I would recommend. For emotes, you want Formal Salute and Threatening. Now, Threatening is kind of interesting. I chose Threatening for combat because it's almost like she's pointing out the enemy, saying that the Lord will judge thee. I could almost add like text to these characters, like when she points her sword like that, you have been judged. And then Formal Salute, almost like she's welcoming herself in the name of the Lord, like I've come in the name of the Lord to fight. For free roam, I go with Reverence because she's bowing, she's taking a knee in the name of God. And Desperate Cry. She's crying out to God. She's praying. She's basically reaching out to God with her voice in her prayer. So I thought that would work very well as well. For signature, I go with Devotion. Because again, we're dropping down to one knee and she's showing her devotion to the Lord. So again, very much your Christian look, your very angelic look. You're going with this devotion that you want to show. And then finally for effects. These effects are actually important. For Idol, you want Messenger's Wings, since that gives that angelic look, and you want them for your executions. You want Messenger's Wings for the executions. However, you don't want those for the free roam and combat emotes. For free roam and combat emotes, you want Bursting Flame. Now, why do you want Bursting Flame? Specifically with some of these emotes, it looks like she just landed on the battlefield. It looks like she's just arrived, and the very ground is igniting by her presence. Like this holy power cannot be handled by the very earth itself, and so she is igniting the very world around her. Her every action, her every step ignites the ground. So it just gives off this very angelic, very frightening and intimidating presence. So I feel like this just fits so well for our girl, right? And that about wraps it up. This is all you need to know to build Rachel, the angelic Blackbriar. Did you guys enjoy this video? Do you think you'll be making your own Rachel? Do you guys kind of like this but want to tweak it a little bit? Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if you like the video and if you'd like me to make more like these. Don't worry, I will get to Deborah eventually. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.